innovate.
Kizzy's Friday Game Changers, taking your business to the next level.
I'm Tom Allwright, the founder of Adventure Abroad, and I've been a game changer for 10,585 days, and that's why I listen to Kiz's Friday Game Changers.
Hi, I'm Phil Atherton, one of the founders of Solverboard. Solverboard is a new end-to-end innovation management platform launching soon. My piece of advice for entrepreneurs is all about people, and there's probably three elements to that. The first is believing in yourself and your idea. Sure, try and bust it to pieces in your head, but if it still holds true, then don't be afraid to get going on it. I'm always taken back by the amount of brilliant people I come across that are so capable and confident in many ways, but when thinking of starting a business, they overinflate it in their heads and are held back by fear. Sure, starting your own business can be scary, but what is the worst that can happen? You really never lose out. Even if your ideas do not succeed and the business fails, the life lessons are always more valuable and professionally rewarding than doing nothing. 2. However, before you spend big bucks or make irreversible steps in your life, do try and canvass your idea to as many people as possible in your target area to make sure you're not blinded by it and it does have legs. And finally, and most importantly, find some great co-founders. Then impassion and share with them. Being entrepreneurial and creating a new business is an incredibly exciting, high-energy adventure. It is full of highs and lows. I can't emphasize how much you need great people with you that share your vision and complement your skills to help bring your idea to reality and pick you up when you need it. And you will. It's a privileged thing to set up and establish a successful business, and with all things in life, always better shared.
Coming up on Kiz's Friday Game Changers.
We live in an age where millennials are representing an increasing proportion of the workforce. They're going to represent over 75% of the workforce within 5 years. And what's interesting is 77% of them choose workplace due to purpose. So if you want to be in business in a few years' time, you better have a purpose, because that's one of the drivers for attracting and retaining millennials.
Welcome to Kizzy's Friday Game Changers
with your host Kizzy Nkwocha,
a show for innovators and motivators, people just like you.
Kizzy is a publisher of Business Game Changer magazine, editor of the successful Woman in Business book series and the best-selling Every Entrepreneur's Guide series. Every week, Kizzy and his guests provide you with the tools you need to take your game-changing business to the next level.
Listen, learn and innovate.
Now meet your host, your mentor and your fellow game changer, Kizzy Nkwocha.
Hello and welcome to Kiz's Friday Game Changers. This week's guest has made it his personal mission to make 100 million people happy at work. Impossible? You've got to listen to this man. I think he may well just pull it off. It's Friday, I'm Kizzy, and we're Game Changers. Listen, learn, and innovate.
Hi, my name's Julian Leach. I'm co-founder and CEO at Parcel Point, and my Friday would not be complete without Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
Thanks for joining us. My next guest is a highly acclaimed business transformation and engagement strategist. He's also a passionate and energetic serial entrepreneur, a best-selling author, philanthropist, and international public speaker. He's my very good friend, Stefan Wissenbach. Stefan, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
I've got to tell you, I'm so fired up about this interview. I've been thinking about this all month. 100 million people happy at work. The three things going together. How are you going to do this, Stefan?
Yeah, well, I should expand the statement a bit. We talk about happy at work. The statement is 100 million people measurably more engaged and happier at work. And the measurably more engaged is important in as much that I've made a commitment over the next 25 years, or 20 now, because I made the commitment 5 years ago, to help 100 million people become measurably more engaged and happier at work. And how we're going to do that? Well, I mean, there's a number of ways. I realized many years ago that the power of engagement, both at a personal level, individuals, when they're personally engaged, achieve so much more than those that aren't. I know it's a statement of the obvious, but it's often overlooked. And then when you're working in an organization or in a business, and you're engaged, you're sort of present, focused, and energized, and you're connected with what's going on and the purpose of the organisation, then work doesn't necessarily feel like work. Churchill had that wonderful phrase, "Find a job you love and you'll never work again." And it's much easier to love what you do if you're engaged in the process. And so having realised this many years ago, and I've written a number of books on the topic, I travel around the world speaking on it, I decided that one of the ways that I would help 100 million people become measurably more engaged and happier at work is to actually create a digital platform, because obviously 100 million is a very big number, and doing that on a one-on-one it would need many, many lifetimes. So actually, to harness the power of technology, and I set about several years ago launching a digital platform called Engagement Multiplier, which enables any business anywhere in the world in less than 10 minutes every 90 days. It provides them with the ability to have their employees confidentially and anonymously score how engaged they are and how connected they are with the business. And what it does is it delivers the most incredible insight for business owners and leaders that enables them to understand where the hotspots are in their organization, where the opportunities are, and where they need to take action in a way that enables them to be laser focused. And then when they take the action, and what's fascinating is most of the time it's only small things that need to be done. When they take the action, then that results in incremental improvements. And then the employees who have participated in that process get the payoff and become measurably more engaged. And because the platform is scoring and putting a score around how engaged the employees think the business is, because I think that what gets measured improves, and what gets measured and reported improves exponentially. What happens is they're able to see the score improving over time. So there's that measurement there, which with any goal that you set or any endeavor that you have as a business owner, a leader, needs to be measurement behind. I don't know if that answers the question, but how are we doing it? We're doing it initially through a digital platform, which is a rapidly growing tech business now. And then also I spend time speaking at conferences and to audiences, and spoke at a university recently to a wonderful group of aspirational young students about the power of engagement. So for me, everything I'm doing, whether it be professionally or personally, is all about helping to work towards that goal of 100 million people.
How important is it for the company to be brave enough to submit itself to becoming a better place to work?
That's a very good point, and I wish you'd have asked me that question 6 years ago, because initially when I launched Engagement Multiplier, I didn't fully appreciate how many business owners there were out there that actually think that ignorance is a good strategy, and that would prefer not to know the truth about what's really going on in their business. And it's interesting because I've had conversations with business owners and leaders over the years where I talk about the power that our technology platform has and the incredible insight that it can deliver. And they say, well, yeah, great, understand, but we don't want to lift the lid on the problems, we don't want to do this and uncover all the issues. And I say, are you crazy? Do you not think they're already talking about them? But it's just that you're the only person not in the conversation. And what I realized some years ago is that actually to build an incredible company, to build an engaged organization, you absolutely require bravery. It requires bravery on the part of the entrepreneur and the leader. And by that, by bravery, I mean a willingness to uncover the truth and understand the truth about what your employees really think, and also a willingness to be slightly vulnerable. A lot of business leaders think they sort of have to be, the leader all the time, and I see great leaders demonstrating a certain amount of humility. And also a certain amount of vulnerability from time to time. And that's really important. We're all human. And the idea of understanding the truth in your business and employees being able to tell you and share with you the truth. And as I said earlier, it needs to really be confidentially shared, because otherwise people don't often feel comfortable telling you the truth. But then when you know the truth, being sort of brave enough to sort of go, okay, that's how people think. It's either correct or it's a misunderstanding, right? So if it's correct, fix it. If it's a misunderstanding, great, opportunity to correct. And then also that vulnerability, in as much that our platform enables employees to score every 90 days their leaders and the business owner. And so in my case, my team, well, I'm a wonderful team, but my team get to score me every 90 days as the founder and owner of Engagement Multiplier. And that's interesting, because I have to tell you, not every quarter does my score go up. In fact, there's been some quarters where it's taken a real thumping, and I've had a kick in the pants from the team because, I need to up my game. And so that bravery and vulnerability is important, but I have to tell you, so powerful. And it's the brave leaders, and it's those that are prepared to be slightly vulnerable and listen to their team. They're the ones that end up having the prize of building a great business.
It's really interesting that you put yourself up for a critique from your own team members. I'm wondering, during that very first evaluation, was there room for complacency, or did you think to yourself, there are things I've definitely, absolutely got to improve?
A mixture. I think anyone that thinks they're perfect is deluded. We all know, don't we? And I've had the good fortune of being coached and having a coach for the majority of my working life. And so I've always been very open and receptive to feedback and being coached. I mean, that's the only way that I think we're always learning and growing. And I think it's tragic the day we think we stop. But so there's certain things that I expected that I knew were things that would probably possibly be areas where I wouldn't score so well. And then there were things that I knew where I would score well. So quite often, with our platform, it reinforces some of the things but it also provides some interesting and illuminating insights into things that you didn't. And so it tends to be a blend. But the great thing about information like this that's unambiguously presented is it enables you to sit back, take stock, take action, and then 90 days later score again and see how you did, which is great, because the world moves so fast these days. I really don't, I think annual surveys are a waste of time. The world is just moving at such a pace. So that sort of 90-day check-in and that ability to course correct if you're a bit off course is really powerful.
Yeah, I can understand it completely. By its own definition, Engagement Multiplier is a game-changing product. It not only changes the way people do business, but it also changes the way people think about business. What sort of resistance did you encounter when you first tried to introduce Engagement Multiplier to the marketplace?
Great question. Well, initially, I was met with very little resistance. In fact, I was met with rapturous applause. And it's interesting that you talk about game changers, because I am a member of one of the world's leading coaching programs. I've had the very good fortune of now having Dan Sullivan, who's the co-founder of Strategic Coach, which is one of the most successful coaching organizations in the world for entrepreneurs. I think they've coached over 30,000 entrepreneurs over the last sort of 25 or so years. And Dan's top coaching program is called the Game Changer Program. And it's working with entrepreneurs who have game-changing ideas. And I came up with my idea for Engagement Multiplier whilst I was working with Dan prior to him launching his Game Changer program many years ago. And I had the opportunity to share my idea in front of a room full of 30 or so very successful entrepreneurs. And I explained what I was doing. I explained the problem I was going to solve and how we were going to go about doing it. And at that particular point in time, all I'd done was to create the question set that would enable employees to provide feedback. And I'd also decided on how we would present the data back to the business owner. But what I hadn't done was spent what's now over 11 million of investment in the technology and building the business. So we effectively, we had this sort of the customer facing pieces, but we didn't have this huge engine with the algorithms and everything in the middle. I went to market with it, and I launched it in this room full of 30 or so entrepreneurs, and 2/3 of the room signed up immediately. So I knew I was onto an idea that worked. And within the space of about 3 weeks, we filled what I call founding 50 slots. We took on our founding 50 customers, of which 46 are still with us. And what we did was we used those 46. And this, I think, entrepreneurs listening to this show, if you have a great idea that you're passionate about, the best way to go to market is to test it on check writers, something that my coach taught me many years ago. So, you want to get what you can, a sort of minimum viable product. Well, we had our minimum viable product. We knew how we were going to gather the data. We knew how we were going to present it back. And we tested it, and suddenly we had 50 people that had bought in. And so we then set about running the assessments, getting the feedback, and testing it with the market. The sort of roadblocks and challenges that we've hit along the years have been technology related. I'm not a Harvard graduate. I'm a simple fella that has had other businesses in different sectors, never had a tech business before. So steep learning curve, made a lot of mistakes along the way, figured out ways of not doing it before figuring out ways of doing it. And so those have really been the setbacks, have been sort of technology related and go to market. And then things like, as you go to market, finding out that, a lot of entrepreneurs don't necessarily want to know the truth about what's going on in their business. And another setback for us was dealing with large companies. There are lots of large companies out there, but I've always been an entrepreneur. I'm passionate about entrepreneurs, and our platform is exclusively focused on helping entrepreneurs and entrepreneurially minded teams, typically with anything between 10 and 500 employees. The sweet spot really for us is 20 to 250. And we do have some bigger clients on, but one of the problems with larger organizations is that they need a committee meeting to decide whether they're going to have a meeting, to talk about whether they're going to do something, and then it's going to take 6 months to implement. Well, that's not very engaging. And so whilst big organizations need engagement as much as small ones, it's harder once an organization gets to a certain size. It's much harder. You lose some of that agility. So our focus, really, one of our setbacks was thinking that the big prize was working with large companies, and it's not at all. It's where it's at, and I do believe passionately that that's the future. Entrepreneurs, and there'll be a number of them listening to this show, that have a game-changing idea, have something they're passionate about, they have a big vision, they have a purpose, armed with technology and an engaged team. It's organizations like that are disrupting businesses that have been around for hundreds of years. And so we're seeing this, and it's the explosion of entrepreneurs. This is the time to be able to bootstrap, get out there, form a business, and make a difference. So I think we're in the right space. I know we're in the right space, and what we're seeing is, because of that agility, when a client joins us, it's interesting, less than 26% of businesses are scored as engaged by their employees in the first assessment, but within a year, over 93% are scoring engaged, which is really powerful. And it just goes to show that if you listen to your team and you take action, and then you repeat the process, you very quickly get to the prize of having an engaged organization.
An excellent point. Listen to the team, take action, adapt and evolve. I think we can all relate to that, Stefan. I'm just looking at the clock on the wall, and my producer's telling me that it's time for a short music break. This week's boss star is Otis Galloway, an entrepreneur, songwriter and a musician with an insatiable wanderlust. Otis started out in Bermuda, then subsequently left there for Worcester, Massachusetts. After collecting ex-wife number 2, and this is what it says here, he says he decided to stop collecting ex-wives because they're very expensive, and instead he returned to his first love, which is collecting music. Otis now lives in Glasgow, Scotland. He's just released Future Funk Jazz Soul Sessions Volume 1, a collection of remastered, previously released material, and is currently working on developing a multimedia consultancy business. This is Money Earning, taken from Future Funk Jazz Soul Sessions Volume 1. Take it away, Otis.
Riley, Chief Explorer at Cat Explorer, and I love listening to Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
Hi, my name's Andy Cracknell, Digital Awareness Game Changer Strategist at the GC Index, and I've been a game changer for 14,600 days. That's why I listen to Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
Hi Karen, I hardly recognise you in this shiny new sports car. When did you pick it up?
Hi Louise. Yes, it's me. I picked up this beauty just last week. Do you remember that decade's top 10 finance specialist I put myself up for a few months ago?
Yes, I do. Why?
Well, I was nominated in the final top 10.
Really?
Yes, I couldn't believe it either. But the amazing thing was, after I was nominated as one of the decade's top 10 finance specialists, everything just seemed to happen. I landed a huge 5-year consultancy contract, I was being interviewed on radio and TV, we moved to that new office complex on the harbour, and just a few weeks ago I made enough money to put a down payment on this lovely sports convertible, in my favourite colour of course, red.
Well done you. I was thinking about that decade's top 10 finance specialist showcase.
Yes.
Well, I was thinking perhaps I'll enter myself this year. You never know. Have you got their contact details?
Well, I think they're having the awards this year. But the thing is, I think they're full, or the deadline's passed. Anyway, I can't remember where I put their contact details. I'll have a look and send you a postcard from Hawaii. Did I mention we're going to Hawaii this year? Anyway, I'll be in touch. Love you.
You've already done so much. Don't be left out. Nominate yourself, a colleague or a client for the decade's top 10 finance specialists 2019. An award could just change your life. Email hellomoneyandfinance@outlook.com or visit www.moneyandfinancemagazine.com. An award could just change your life.
The world famous Game Changers Show. Game Changers Show. Game Changers Show.
Welcome back. Just before the break, you were listening to the sound of Otis Galloway, and he was singing Money Earning. I'm in the studio talking to Stefan Wissenbach, a business transformation and engagement strategist and the driving force behind Engagement Multiplier. Stefan, looking back over your 27 years or so of experience, what would you say was the biggest factor in driving engagement within an organization?
Yeah, great question. It's really simple. It's purpose. And whilst the world's woken up to the power of engagement over the last sort of 6 or 7 years, it's now pretty much in most business publications, HR journals. The world realizes that if you have engaged employees, you have a business that's easier to run, probably more profitable, more fun, less issues. But when it comes to sort of how do you create that, there's one thing that absolutely is critical that most businesses overlook, and it's what we call purpose. It's often misunderstood as well, and a purpose, it sits at the core. It's something I write about in my book. It's something I teach in my books. I teach about and speak about. It sits at the core of an engaged organization. It's the glue that holds everything together. What you do is you connect employees, owners, and leaders with the purpose and with one another And that's how you build an engaged organization. But what do I mean by purpose? Well, I tell you what it isn't, because it's often misunderstood. It's not written for the shareholders. It's not written for the owners. It's not written for the customers. It's absolutely written for the employees, and often with their input. And it provides them with a why for showing up. So it's very important. You know, we live in an age where millennials are representing an increasing proportion of the workforce. You know, they're going to represent over 75% of the workforce within 5 years. And what's interesting is 77% of them choose workplace due to purpose. So if you want to be in business in a few years' time, you better have a purpose, because that's one of the drivers for attracting and retaining millennials. And so a purpose is a why, very easy to create. In fact, if anyone listening to this show would like, we've got a very simple guide that we can email you that's part of the resources that exist on our platform for our customers. If anyone would like it, if they just contact engagementmultiplier.com, just go to the website and go through the contact us page, reference this show, we'll send you the purpose guide. And you'll see how quick and easy it is to create a purpose in your business with your employees. And you know, I'll give you an example of AS, which is we look at it once a year. As written in the words of our team members, their why they enjoy being part of this organization is that our purpose is unlocking hidden potential and improving the lives of owners, leaders, and employees. That's what makes our team members most of the time leap out of bed like salmon in the morning. You know, they've got a purpose, they've got a why that connects them. And so very, very, very important, and so often misunderstood. I see many organizations, they say, oh, we've got a purpose, but it's not written for the employees, it's written for the owners, or it's written for the customers. This is something that gives your employees a why. So really please, if you run a business, make sure you have a purpose. It's critical.
Really interesting point. I was wondering, is a purpose the same as a mission statement?
No, it's not. There's often sort of mission, vision, etc., purpose. They often get a bit confused. You know, so vision obviously is the transformation that you're looking to make. Where the business is heading. Your mission is you put the purpose is for the employees. The mission is more for the organization. Okay. So absolutely, and it's important to have both. But if you're only going to have one, have a purpose for the employees. That'll drive the business much more than a mission for the organization, because it's their why. I mean, at the end of the day, let's remember, it's about them. It's if you make sure, first of all, in your business that you care for your employees first, then they'll care for your customers. You won't have to worry about it.
So I guess if everyone's working towards a common purpose, then the vision becomes clearer for everybody within the organization.
Absolutely, yeah. And so, I'm very fortunate that I met Peter Diamandis many years ago, and he said to me, what's your massive transformational purpose? And I thought about it, and it was a great question, and that was where I came up with, after some careful thought, I'd like to help 100 million people become measurably more engaged and happier at work. And then I set about creating a business and doing things to help move that forward. Now, I'm fortunate that I have a wonderful team that have connected with that as a vision. So although it's a shared vision, and we ask people how they feel about it, so that we have this vision. And then the purpose is for the employee. So it is connected to the vision and very much harmonious with it.
A really good point. I was thinking, if somebody wants to find out more about you and your business and see if there's any way you can help them within their organization, how would they get hold of you? Now, I know you've got a website. What's the address again? Remind me.
engagementmultiplier.com.
Okay. Do you use social media at all?
Yes, we are. We are on Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn, and so very happy to connect. But interestingly, to the earlier point, was that one of the things that we decided to do about a year ago was we decided we would give our technology away for free, providing the people that were going to take it for free understood that they needed to be brave, caring owners. And so any listeners that are interested in understanding how engaged their organization is absolutely welcome to take a free engagement assessment using our technology. And it's very easy to do that. You simply go to engagementmultiplier.com, register click for a free report, and you'll be up and running literally in a matter of just a few minutes. Very, very easy to get set up. And within literally a couple of weeks, you will be looking at your own dashboard, seeing the hotspots and the opportunities in your organization, and how you can take things to even greater levels.
I'm in. I'm going to sign up. I was just about to say thank you very much, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like I've walked into a scene from Columbo. You know, the scene where he says goodbye and then he comes back and he says, just one last question. And you know, this is the most important question that he's going to ask. So just one last question before you go, Stefan. If you had to give advice to any aspiring entrepreneurial game changer, something that you're going to tell them that could be the critical difference between success and failure, based on your 27 years of hard-earned experience, what would you say to them?
Great question. I think it's a number of things rather than just one thing. Firstly, I think at the core, you've got to have something you're absolutely passionate about. We said at the beginning of this show that Winston Churchill's quote, "Find a job you love and you'll never work again." Very, very, very true. And if you're not completely passionate about it, then it's going to be really hard to carry you through the tough times. And let's be frank. As an entrepreneur, there's many, many highs, but there's also lows, and you need that passion to carry you through. So, secondly, you're going to need belief in a big vision, and something that's going to help you see things through. And then a realization that you're not going to do it alone. It's one of my coaches said to me, "Stefan, remember when we point the finger, that there's three fingers pointing back at us. So it has to start with you. But then what you need to do is you need to surround yourself with a unique ability team." And one of the things that one of the things my coach shared with me many years ago, it's who, not how, right? So you've got a big vision, you've got a passion, you've got a belief. Then go out and find the who's that can help you get there, rather than trying to figure everything out yourself. Really, really important. Always be learning and growing. Always continue to take stock of progress. Looking back, what's worked, what hasn't, making those adjustments, and then finally be brave. Don't be frightened to take measured risks, but step outside your comfort zone. Be connected to that big vision. And things have a funny way of, we talk about the power of the universe coming together. Things have a funny way of falling in favor when you've got that passion, that belief, and that commitment, and that team, and that purpose, and that vision, and you're driving forward. Opportunities that otherwise wouldn't have shown themselves to be there, could come to the fore. So that would be my advice. It's a number of things, but you sort of blend those together, and that really is a recipe for success.
Fantastic. I've got to say, this is probably one of the most inspirational and insightful interviews we've done in a very, very long time. Stefan, it's been fantastic talking to you. And I'm going to be stalking you. I'm going to find your website. I'm going to register and get my dashboard. And I'm going to try and improve the quality of our workplace based on everything you've just told me. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, my head's still reeling with some of the ideas that Stefan and I discussed. Today's conversation reminds me of something that late, great Steve Jobs once said. Steve said, "Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And if you can do something for the sheer joy of doing it, you can do it forever." See you next week.